So, Garry, how excited are you for the new season, especially with the new format that we've got this year?
Yeah, everyone here at Leinster is incredibly excited for the challenges that we're all faced with adapting to the new Pool A and Pool B setup and the different fixtures. It's obviously a massive challenge watching Exeter deservedly lift the cup a couple of weeks ago. Kind of spurs on the motivation to attack straight into the new season. And obviously it's challenging the way COVID has kind of created the dilemma season-wise, but then it's also ideal the fact that we can certainly at Leinster get a crack to go again and trying to be back in the final like Exeter was.
How wary are you of Montpellier in your first match, and especially considering some of the superstars they now have with their French internationals?
Yeah, with the condensed fixtures, it's even more challenging. There's even more importance on each game and the points that are available. So first up for Montpellier, we played them 3 years ago and 2 years ago. And the squad has evolved and changed, and they've gone from strength to strength. Certainly from a backs perspective, what we're facing challenge-wise, littered with internationals, like we played Reidy, who was one of the star players for Northampton last year, is now doing his thing in Montpellier. So obviously he's a massive threat. And then you have Lozowski, who was playing in Newcastle. I was playing against him at 13 when Saracens beat us in the final. And then you have Rattez, Arthur Vincent, in terms of French internationals in the back line. Anthony Boutier as well, who hasn't played as much for France, but he's still the massive threat that he is. So, like, in terms of preparation-wise, to look beyond anything but Montpellier would be to our own downfall. So all focus and attention is on addressing the threats they have, and then trying to build what will be the best performance we can to try and start the competition right.
And you mentioned there about Saracens in the final in Newcastle, and obviously your journey ended at their feet last season as well. How much is that a driving factor, or would you say that the ambition to become the first team with 5 stars would be more of an ambition?
I mean, they all kind of act as motivators. I know a big one was being in Bilbao and winning there a couple of years back. When you have amazing moments like that, you're kind of chasing those moments. But then equally the disappointment against Clermont and Lyon that I was involved in, and then Newcastle against Saracens, and then the quarterfinal more recently against Saracens. They're all massive motivating factors. And then even watching Exeter lift the trophy a couple of weeks back, that's another motivator to try and be back and give ourselves the opportunity to be there. So they all contribute. And then equally there's the 5-star thing. To add any star to the jersey is another huge motivator, considering the legacy that's gone before at Leinster and the responsibility to have that same ambition to try and continue that legacy. So there's no shortage on the motivation front to turn up and try to do our best come Europe.
And does that kind of turn into pressure that is kind of like the weight of expectation on Leinster, especially in Europe?
I think as a group we put ourselves under pressure to perform the best we can, our own level or standard of performance each week, irrespective of competition. But then, yeah, I think the increase in standard and intensity in the games and the opposition, like talking about Montpellier and the quality they have first up, and then Northampton the week after. If you aren't at your best, those teams will punish you, and you could be finished 80 minutes later having lost the game. So that just puts even more emphasis and concentration on getting the preparation right from now, pretty much. Obviously analysing opposition, but then also driving our own standards of performance, which you build in training and day to day. So you arrive with your best foot forward come Saturday, or come the weekend even. So whether it's pressure or expectation, I think the nature of the competition, I think everyone's under pressure to perform at their best.
Absolutely. And for you personally, Have you adapted to the senior role you've undertaken in the past few months, especially obviously after captaining Leinster to the Pro 14 title?
I mean, everyone in Leinster here would be challenged by the coaches, whether you've 100 caps or one cap, to be the best version of yourself from a leadership perspective. So that's kind of no different, that I'd be challenged in that same way. And what I love getting the opportunity to do, it was a massive honour to get the chance to captain Leinster for that Ulster game and see Rob and Ferg lift the trophy at the end. And you know, I mean, so we're all challenged equally. If James Ryan, who's been captaining Ireland, with Johnny Sexton being injured, you know, you have him stepping up to the mark on an international level. So everyone is being challenged in that same way here in Leinster to be the best version of themselves, whether you're doing the coin toss or not. That's before the game, you know, this sort of way.
What was your first Heineken Cup memory?
My first Heineken Cup memory, watching or from a playing perspective? I know from a playing perspective it was in the RDS against Bath. Myself and a fair few others were making our European debut, and I think Bath were probably the favourites going into it, and it was one of those special nights in the RDS that we managed to kind of turn the result, and the fact that there was a group of us making our European debut winning that day was a pretty special one from a playing perspective.
Nice one. And a watching perspective, what's your kind of first memory of that and how it inspired you?
I hate to say it, but certainly watching Munster win the Heineken Cup is probably my earliest memories. And then thankfully getting the opportunity to see Leinster do what they did before I was involved in the setup. Kind of each of those carry similar weight, obviously against Leicester, and then against that Ulster final, and I think what they did against Northampton, that turnaround, they all kind of stick pretty vividly in my memory. But my first one, unfortunately, is seeing Munster win it.
I'm sure that inspired you to do what you've done.
Yeah.
If you could pick one word to describe what it takes to win the Heineken Champions Cup, what would that word be?
Relentlessness, I think.
That's a good one. In your team now, obviously there's quite a few stars that are breaking through, and as we discussed before, you've kind of taken on the leadership role now. So which stars are you tipping to make the biggest impact this season, the young stars on the European stage?
I mean, there's a few guys. Just pick out, I don't know, two guys coming through. You have the likes of Ryan Baird in the row, could probably play back row as well. Harry Byrne as well, who was Ross's younger brother. The pair of them are probably exciting guys to be watching.
Who is the hardest trainer in your squad?
In the gym, it's probably Andrew Porter. On the pitch, Hugo Keenan.
Nice. Who's the fastest?
I could be wrong here. I think it could be Hugo Keenan as well. I think Ryan Baird's up there. Tommy O'Brien, there's a few of them. I could be leaving them out, I'm not too sure.
And the strongest?
I think Port's probably.
Most skillful? You can say yourself.
No, I think Kieran Frawley, some of the stuff he's pulling out in the games recently, he's probably up there.
Best banter?
James Lowe.
Future captain?
James Ryan.
Future pundit?
I don't think anyone wants to be called a pundit while they're still playing, so I'm going to scratch that question.
Fair enough. Future coach?
Johnny Sexton.
So Sean, obviously it's been a great start for the club to the season. You're 8 from 8. You've taken pretty much every point available to you. How good is the feeling around the squad going into the Heineken Champions Cup this year?
Yeah, there's real confidence within our group at the moment. As you said, we've had a few wins under our belt and played some really good footy over these last few months. So there's a good feeling, and we're looking forward to relishing that challenge this weekend.
Fantastic. And as we mentioned a few times, you've obviously got Toulouse first up, who you met in the quarterfinals last year. You've reached the quarterfinals in the last 2 years, and you've unfortunately come up against an incredible Toulouse side and Leinster as well. How the experience of those games, those knockout games, benefit you going into this season, do you think?
Yeah, I think we've got a fairly young squad at the moment, and the more times you play in those big games or get to those final stages, you learn a heck of a lot and take a lot of learnings from them. So at the end of the season, that's where we want to be. So it starts with a big game this weekend, and we know the physicality and the speed that these European games are played at, and as a group, we know we've got to be at our best to put our best foot forward.
Sure, absolutely. And it's always clear when Ulster are playing in the Heineken Champions Cup, particularly a game at home at Kingspan Stadium in previous years when we've obviously had fans there, how much the competition means to the club. Can you try and describe in your own words how special it is, the Heineken Champions Cup, for everyone involved at Ulster?
Yeah, as you said, I think it's not just the players or the staff. It's the supporters. It's the community we've got around us here. In the past, you see when these games, we've got them at the Kingspan, the crowds riding behind us, we're packing the place out, and there's a real buzz around the town. So they mean a lot to us as a union, but as a team, but as a community as well. I think it brings everyone together, and these are the games you want to sort of be playing in, these big fixtures. So as I said, there's going to be a buzz this Friday night, and we just want to put our best foot forward, not just for us as a team, but for our fans that support as well.
Absolutely. And for you personally, I don't know how much Northern Hemisphere rugby you've seen growing up, but what are your first memories of the Heineken Champions Cup?
Geez, I didn't watch too much growing up, to be honest with you, but it's something you talk about back home, like the Heineken Cup. It's like the equivalent to sort of the top teams of Super Rugby when I was growing up. So yeah, I just remember back in the day watching those fixtures where it was London Wasps or the Munster. Growing up, those when they had Ricky Tapoki, a couple of fellow New Zealanders playing for them. Those are the teams that I used to think about, and we used to talk about, and we're like, gosh, the atmosphere in those games is unreal. So hopefully this weekend we can sort of try and put our best foot forward. I know we might not have crowds there, but we just want to go on all guns blazing.
Fantastic. Yeah, we can't wait to see you in action. And now that you've been playing Heineken Champions Cup rugby for a few seasons, what have you noticed in terms of the difference of preparing for and playing a game in Europe compared to maybe a game in the Pro 14?
Yeah, well, as I said previously, the physicality and the speed is a lot quicker, and you just don't get as many opportunities, do you, in these bigger matches? You got to you might only get 2 or 3 a game, and if you don't take them, you're in for a hard night. And on the back of that, you can get punished for your mistakes fairly easy at this kind of level. You're playing against a top caliber of player, so if you're not on your money, you're going to be in trouble as well. So I think there's really small errors of margin in these games, but hey, the other ones you want to play in, you want to test yourself against the best, and what a better way to start than this weekend.
So Munster obviously having a great domestic season. You're unbeaten so far. How ready as a club do you feel you are to step up to that next level of European rugby?
Yeah, I think we're all ready to take the next step up. I think with getting the Irish guys back next week, I think when they come back into the squad, I think they'll appreciate it a lot more, because there has been a lot of hard work being put in, and obviously coming back from the international squad, you want guys to obviously stand out and take responsibility. But I think when they come back, they'll actually just get a nice feeling, and hopefully they will just add, well, not hopefully, I know they will add a lot more to our squad than what we have already. So hopefully we can just keep the momentum going, and obviously we've got things coming up, but we're all just looking forward to the next challenge, and we can't wait for this next block of games to start.
Great. And Obviously, it'll be your first experience of European rugby. How excited are you? And with the format of only 4 games in pool stages, what challenges do you think that will pose?
Yeah, it's obviously watching a lot of the European Cup games back when I was at home playing for the Stormers last year. But obviously, just watching the games, it looked very important to win all the games to get the best deal out of it. So we know it's only 4 games this year, but like previous years, we have to win all 4 games to get into the best position, and hopefully we'll get that right. And we just know that our job is to win this first 4. Our job is to win the first 4 games, and the rest will take care of itself after that. We know we don't have to worry about any other results. We just have to worry about what we want to achieve.
And although you've obviously only been at the club for a short while, do you get the sense of the importance that this competition has with Munster historically?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the guys speak about it a lot. Even the guys coming to the academy speak about it a lot. And I think that's something that not just the old guys want to achieve. It's the youngsters that also want to achieve it with Munster. And there's a lot of pride and passion. I can just feel it like in their voice and the way they speak about the Heineken Cup, and the feelings they get when they speak about Munster and the past, and obviously what Munster had achieved in the past, and they just want to get that right and achieve what those other guys have. So it is. I think everyone feels like there's a big responsibility at the club.
Great. And at the moment, unfortunately, we don't have fans at the stadiums, but it's looking likely that we will have some fans back at some stage. How much impact will that have, and what do the supporters mean to competitions like this?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think home games will probably the standout and the ones that you really needed to win. Obviously, having that home advantage, but having your crowd and family and friends backing you and singing and chanting for you at home and giving you that almost that extra bit of momentum and belief. So that's a bit different now. Obviously, not having that feeling on the field, but hopefully we'll get there soon. Hopefully sooner than later. We are missing it a bit. The game is a bit different when you do score tries, good team tries, and it's just a bit silent in the background and no one's cheering and chanting. So we are looking forward to having people back at the stadium, and we know it will be just as incredible for them as it will be for us as well.
Munster obviously famous for bringing through quite a lot of the academy players and young players. So who do you think are the ones to watch this season for you in European action?
So I want to say names, but I also feel like it'll be wrong. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but there are guys that are playing very good rugby that's come through the academy, or not even in the academy anymore, but they're still very young. Guys like Kumzi and Craig Casey, they've been playing very good rugby. I would think hopefully soon they would be at international level. So I'm really looking forward to what they will do in this next block of games, and hopefully they will just keep on playing the way they are and keep the momentum going. And but with in saying that, I think the guys around them, even all the other youngsters, I know they're obviously not getting any game time at the moment, but the work they're putting in the week to make us play better on the Saturday or Monday night, they don't get seen or they don't get any praise, but we know that in the bigger picture, they're the ones that are actually pushing us and building us to make our team a lot better.
Who's the hardest trainer?
I'm trying to think now. I don't actually know. I'm trying to think who
Maybe it's
enjoys
you.
them. No, definitely not me. Probably Craig. Craig is very energetic at training, and he's always energetic in the gym as well. So yeah, I'll probably go with Craig Casey.
Who do you think the strongest is in the squad?
Definitely Roman. He's pushing like 70 kgs on the dumbbell press, which is quite impressive.
Excellent. And who's the fastest in the squad?
Definitely me.
Fair enough.
Nice.
No, there are quite a few fast boys, but I'll probably go with Calvin Nash. I don't know if there's anyone else.
Who is the most skillful, do you think? And that can be either, kicking or with the hands or...
Shane Daly is very skillful. At training, there's like good highlights clips of him getting nice touches in with like one hand pickups and flicks with the foot. So probably go with Shane Daly.
And who has the best banter so far?
Probably me. I think I got the best banter.
Clearly. Who do you think is the most likely to be a future coach?
Probably Ben. Yeah, I would say Ben or JJ. I think they will be not just head coaches, but I think somewhere on attack. I think they both have the brains for it.
How important is it for Connacht to be back in the Heineken Champions Cup, and what are your kind of ambitions for the season ahead?
Yeah, mate, we're really stoked to be part of the Champions Cup again this season. I think it's a reflection of the work that you've put in the previous season. You've performed well in your competitions and you've qualified. So to be in here again, I think it's massive for us, and we can't wait to rip in next week. Our ambition, we want to do well. We're under no illusions that it's going to be easy or anything like that. But we know that if we can put into good performances these first 2 weeks, we put ourselves in a really good spot.
I suppose it's going to be a little bit different this season without fans in Galway, initially at least. But what is it that makes this competition so special for you guys?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's definitely. I think it makes the competition so special is that you've got teams from the best teams in Europe from all their respective competitions coming together to play each other and see who's the very best. So you get to play teams that you wouldn't usually play. You get to come up against players that you wouldn't usually come up against, and that's special. And to be able to be a part of it is something that guys understand that it is a privilege. You do have to work for it. And now that we're here, we want to do the right thing and compete.
And you mentioned some of the big teams in Europe there. Obviously, as European opening games go, it doesn't come much tougher than a trip to Paris to play Racing 92. How much will your side be relishing that task?
Yeah, look, we haven't really spoken about next week too much, to be honest. We just want to get this postponed game that we've got this week underway and get that one in the books, and then we'll start moving on to Racing next week. But I think every time Champions Cup games come around, there's a genuine excitement because you do know you're coming up against some of the best teams, and Racing's definitely one of them. So I think come Friday afternoon after the dust settled with the Benetton game, then there'll be a real buzz. That buzz will start up.
And we spoke to Andy earlier, and he was just saying that he thought the La Défense Arena might actually suit Connacht. Would that be something that you agree with?
Yeah, I think so. I think the type of game that we've been trying to play and the type of game that we have been playing when things have been going well has been quite expansive. It's been moving the ball around. It's been about using the mobility that we've got in our forward pack. And it doesn't get much better than an indoor stadium like they've got over there. So I think it will suit us. And I think it's going to be an exciting game regardless.
Great. And just looking a bit further down the line, really, it doesn't get a lot easier. You got a clash with the Challenge Cup holders in Bristol Bears. How would you assess that matchup? Yeah,
geez, again, we haven't really thought too much ahead of this week, but Bristol Bears, geez, you just look at their lineup. It's a very star-studded lineup and a lot of familiar faces as well. So it'll be exciting to have them back in Galway, back at the sports ground. It's a shame that there might not be as many fans there as you'd want for a Champions Cup game, but it'll definitely be a special one and a memorable one and exciting.
And you mentioned, obviously, they have a lot of big names at the minute at Bristol, but it'd be fair to say Semi Radradra, he's got to be right up there. Just how good is he, and explain what makes him so good, really.
Geez, yeah, he's so much fun to watch. He just looks like he's playing with kids half the time. They just give him the ball early, and off he goes. I think it just looks like he's having fun when he's got the ball, when he's out on the field. He's just enjoying himself. And the guys around him just react really well, play what's in front. And, it's good. It's a nice brand of rugby to watch. And it's definitely something that we try to emulate as well. Just moving the ball around, play what's in front. When opportunities come, we'll take them. So, I appreciate the Semi is definitely one of the best in the world at doing that at the moment. And we'll have fun with him at the sports ground in a couple of weeks' time.
Just in terms of your Connacht teammates, who's the hardest trainer, would you say?
Who's the hardest trainer? Oh, geez. Potentially Connor Oliver. He works very hard. He's one of our back rowers. And then always those halfbacks. There's something about them. They're always so competitive. So you got Stevie Kearns, a very hard trainer. Caelan Blade, Colin Riley. The three of them, they just go at it all day long.
What about the strongest?
Oh, well, it's Petey Robb. He's an absolute animal. He's an animal. They made new dumbbells just for him. That's a joke.
Brilliant.
I've never touched them before. I just look.
Great stuff. What about the fastest?
Who's the fastest? Oh, geez. That's debatable. Fastest back is probably, Kieran Marmion won the 10-meter speed gate, so he claims to be the fastest. But you'd have to give it to Matty Healy. He's an old bugger, but he can still move.
Great. What about the most skillful?
Who's the most skillful player? Jeez. I'm going to give it to one of the forwards, but I'm going to name two. I think Shane Delahunt at hooker is very skillful, but you wouldn't know by the look of him. But the man's got some great skills. And then the other one would be Abram Papali. He's come here, and he's a big physical number 8. And when he's got the ball in hand, he can do some pretty special stuff.
Okay, and best banter in the dressing room?
Oh, geez, who's got the best banter? It'd have to be Stephen Fitzgerald. He's definitely got the best banter. He's got some great energy about him. He's been in the rehab group at the moment, mending his knee, but he's still got a massive smile on his face. He's still good to throw a bit of abuse at anyone that tries him. So I'll have to give it to Steve Fitz. That's
great stuff. Future captain?
Oh, geez, you can't look past Paul Boyle. He's a phenomenal young leader. I think he's only like 22, 23 years old, but he's got a massive head on his shoulders, and I think he'll be around for a good while.
And I suppose similarly as well, maybe a future head coach in the team.
Future head coach, I would have to say Owen Masterson would be the future head coach. He's just very switched on. He knows his stuff. Very good at talking to people. I think Owen Masters would make a great coach.
House of Rugby Ireland, here on Joe, together with Guinness. Game changed.